Today, we delve deeper into the disaster of Command & Conquer 4, the game that destroyed the entire Command & Conquer franchise. This is a story of overwork, corporate greed, and arrogance that killed the most iconic classic strategy franchise of all time. So how did EA kill a franchise that defined an entire genre spanning over 2 decades? Well, by dissecting the development timeline, you too can destroy a franchise through these 4 simple steps. But even though CNC is dead, its legacy lives on, and a new dawn is coming. Dune 2 by Westwood forever transformed the landscape of real-time strategy games, starting an innovation arms race leading to the golden age of RTS gaming. Core concepts established then are still seen today, including base building, unit production, and resource collection. It was during this era that Blizzard Entertainment became Westwood's nemesis, each mirroring releases one after the other in a 2-decade war for supremacy. As their individual rivalry intensified and grew, other strategy titans including Age of Empires, Homeworld, Company of Heroes, Dawn of War, and Supreme Commander emerged as well. It is in this context that the downfall of Command & Conquer becomes a tragedy, ending a multi-game, decades-long saga by spitting on the very legacy of what made them great. Leading up to the development of CNC4, the operating environment was hell. Devs were forced to relentlessly work just to push games out like a factory. I mean, just look at the development times of the last 3 CNC games leading up to it. Probably not the best environment to inspire people to work harder. But why? Well, EA made the brilliant decision to develop and release games within specific financial years just to pump financial numbers for investors and stockholders. The silver lining is that the hellish environment forged the bonds of camaraderie between the entire team. It is here we come to the first step: overwork your staff and hope for the best. CNC4 started life as CNC Arena, an online-only multiplayer experience for the Asian market. During development of the 3 last Command & Conquer games, a small skunkworks team experimented with different concepts to make RTS more accessible and to casualize it, believing that RTS was dying in general. Comment below, did you think they were right at the time? Rumors of Arena's existence began circulating around 2008, with beta keys included with the Red Alert 3 Premier Edition to a yet unnamed future game. The early concept art for Arena looks awfully familiar for some reason. Nah, I must be crazy. EA, in their infinite wisdom, decided to repurpose Arena into a mainline game with a $60 US price tag. Members of the development team hesitated, resisted, and even were outright utterly disgusted, prompting some to leave the team altogether. Greg Black, a developer not part of the CNC4 team who left for other reasons around this time, shed some light after his departure, commenting, "EA had broken many promises to us and was continuing to make bad decisions at the expense of the CNC franchise and over the protests of the development teams. I just needed a break from the EA insanity." Here we come to step 2. Be greedy and force your team to change direction. Now, this next section is entirely my own speculation, but the likely reason for Arena turning into a $60 mainline game was purely financial. News articles leading up to the release of CNC4 tell a story of EA scrambling to save money by cutting down costs and firing its employees. Early 2008, EA announced layoffs of 500 employees. By end of 2008, 1,000, and then by early 2009, 1,100. Still, the dev team continued to work, thinking themselves immune from the layoffs. Little did they know, HR would soon pay them a visit too. At the end of the day, the dev team do share some of the blame for Command & Conquer 4, as they were unwilling to listen to their fans. Early build testers were the first to warn them on how they felt about the lack of base building, and they certainly would not be the last. Still, the dev team stuck to their course. Gamescom 2009. EA organized an invite-only private event called CommandCom, where attendees could test the game and even meet Kane. People had fun, but there was a lingering feeling that the magic formula that made Command & Conquer so great was gone. Again, fans brought up their concerns, but even with this final chance at redemption, fans were insulted, ridiculed, and basically told that they didn't know what a CNC game was and what made it such an enjoyable game. Thus, the last chance for the development team to change course was squandered. November 2009, HR finally came knocking. Almost the entire Tiberian Twilight team received devastating news. After release, most of them would be fired. And what better way to guarantee productivity than telling your employees just only 5 months from release that they've been fired? With all the franchise-destroying ingredients in place, CNC4 stood no chance to become the game it was meant to be for fans. March 16, 2010, Tiberian Twilight releases.
Boot up, create an account, my doubts already just starting to amount. I wanna see my boy Kane, so I start the game, launch the campaign, settle out in the space and start building the base. But oh my, I suddenly have a wife. She throwing ultimatums, telling me to pick a side. Reach the end with my army or call it with my bride. And while we're hanging up and put it on the beach side. To unlock units, you gotta grind XP. Lose it all when there's zero connectivity. 50 supply cap is so small. Smash armies and an under them brawl. Lose all of your men. Don't worry, just rebuild them up again. But oh my God, there's units that I can't build, but others can. I guess the way too skilled, so let's go in it. I hate this game cause I'm never going back. I wanna give EA a little smack. So bad this game might seem that it just be forever, or maybe just a dream. A little fever dream when I'm falling asleep. I'm never gonna just wake, or maybe I could just keep it. Maybe it's back to the boards while I practice, cause I'm about to go at them.
At launch, Command & Conquer 4 was the worst game in the series. Die-hard fans still believe it was nothing more than a bad dream. Now we're going to talk more deeply about the three worst aspects of the game: the poor story, progression system, and DRM. Enter a riveting story of a GDI commander torn between loyalty for his wife and his nagging superior, and Kane who smiled at him in the hallway once. Nah, I gotta pick my boy Kane, there's just something about those eyes. The rest of the cutscenes were not much better. In the futuristic world of 2077, what's the latest from the citizens of blue zones around the world?
Kane's gone? Yeah, right.
Wait, is that a 2005 Ford Falcon? As for the ending, the biblical, enigmatic, unkillable and eternally youthful Messiah of Kane was an alien. Damn, they must have really been inspired by Indiana Jones. So who do we have to blame for this poor story? Well, Samuel Bass, lead campaign producer, had the bright idea to outsource narrative scriptwriting to Blindlight, a media production company renowned for injecting some Hollywood into some of the biggest game franchises today. Sam probably forgot to buy the quality DLC microtransaction from Blindlight, as the results speak for themselves. Now, onto the progression system. The progression system was built to be persistent across single player and multiplayer. The way it worked was that by playing games, you earned XP and would unlock stuff for the faction you were playing as. There are a few problems with this scheme. First off, the campaign AI enjoyed the full roster right from the beginning, meaning that there was no way to counter certain units that they could build, leading to missions becoming outright slogs. The problem was further exacerbated in multiplayer. Players who had been playing the game longer had advantages in both experience and a fuller roster of units to draw from, meaning it was very easy for them to dominate fresher players. The result was that multiplayer was not fun for people who were in solo queue. Now for the cherry on top, the aggressive DRM. Players needed to maintain an interconnection at all times, because if they disconnected even in a single player mission, that would result in them losing all the XP they would have earned in that particular mission. With all these aspects in place, it was no wonder that Command & Conquer 4 became the death knell in the entire franchise. Because of EA's stupidity, the way was finally clear for Blizzard to leave Command & Conquer in the dust. With a 6-year development timeline and sticking to the tried and true classic strategy formula, StarCraft II Wings of Liberty smashed the idea that RTS was dying. Releasing just 5 months after Tiberian Twilight, it was applauded as a worthy successor to the undying Brood War. StarCraft II ended the epic rivalry once and for all. Over the next decade, Command & Conquer fans were provided a few sparks of hope, with the occasional teasers of new CNC games. So we licked our lips in anticipation of the masterpieces that would wash away the stain of Tiberian Twilight.
You want your money, so why don't you shell out for some of that premium honey? They said, just launch your units in a line. But I swear, it'll be fine. I wanna cry and then climb. 20 teams, spirits are low, we saw a ray of sunshine. Was it real? Was it real? No. May as well just go ahead and write them a check for the card game. What the heck? What'd you do? You took me for a loop. Where did you go? Come back to me. My heart is in pieces, can't you see? You're toying up for cheap tricks and I'm waking from this dream.
The true legacy of Command & Conquer still lives on. Slipgate Ironworks and 2B Games have created a new classic strategy game that I don't know why, but it feels just so familiar.
Tempest harvesting operations have been disrupted.
The GDI command post must be captured to prevent a G.
This is a banger, who wrote this?
Hi, I'm Frank Klepacki. You may be familiar with some of my compositional work in past video games. I'm here to announce that I'm very excited to be one of the composers working on Tempest Rising.
As we move on with our lives, the 2 decades of fun that we had will live on in games such as Tempest Rising, truly honoring what it meant to Command & Conquer.